Thank you, Twan. So my name is Twan van Beers. I'm with PowerSyncPro. I've been a veteran of the Microsoft stack, so when Satya talked about Windows 3.1 coming out, that's when I started my career back in '91. I became an MCSC in 1995, and it's not working. And in 2002, I started doing migrations. There you go. Not sure why that's not working. So I've been doing migrations now for about 10 years. And just before I start the session, I just wanted to ask a few questions. Who here has been trying to get their workstations to become Entra-joined, so to get rid of Active Directory for workstations? A few hands. Who here has been involved in mergers, acquisitions, so doing tenant-to-tenant migrations or Active Directory migrations? Okay, a few more. And who here has seen when you do a migration, there's this surge of support tickets. So you get inundated on the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and it kind of tails off. Okay, you're all in the right sessions. Not sure why the clicker's not working, so I'll do without it. PowerSyncPro kind of splits into two products at the moment. There's the directory synchronization product, where we synchronize users, groups, their passwords, and we can sync from AD, Entra, or Google, and go to Entra or Google, Entra or Active Directory. We have the standard features around scoping, making sure you can choose the object you want to sync, rewriting attributes, all that sort of stuff. So you would have seen that in some of the other products. We do the same, but of course our solution is faster, easier to use, and I'll show you some screenshots in a moment. The other part of PowerSyncPro is the migration agent. Now, the migration agent at the moment is a Windows migration agent, so we migrate either a server or a workstation between Active Directories. And for a workstation, we can take it from Active Directory joined to Entra joined, or even from a work group, we can take it to Active Directory joined or a Entra joined machine. So those people that are on the Google stack, they may not have an Active Directory at all. We can now migrate those devices as well. I'll go to the next slide. I have to walk over here each time because this doesn't work. PowerSyncPro has been around for quite a while. So it's designed and built by people who live and breathe migrations. So myself, Conrad and Neil own the company. And between us, we have between 50 and 60 years of migration experience. So we do migrations every day. That's all we do. In terms of the 2018 release, I actually wrote that first release back then, and we did a migration for JWT, or Wunderman Thompson, where we migrated 15,000 users, as well as 10,000 teams, and around 83 mail domains between tenants over a weekend. The migration went quite well, obviously long nights, etc. But then when the users came in on the Monday, lo and behold, they never read the communication, they never read their emails. So they kind of got stuck in that process of coming out of the old tenant and getting into the new tenant. And we thought, there's got to be a better way. So in June 2019, I wrote the first migration agent that kind of tackled that problem. Since then, we've been using the product at different organizations like Standard & Poor's, RWS, and other larger organizations, as well as smaller ones. But one that I wanted to highlight was the RWS case, where they were migrating from 2 Active Directories, 2 tenants, to a new greenfield Active Directory and tenant. And we took all 9,000 machines over in the weekend of migration. When those users came online on Monday, they had a roughly about an 8-minute delay to get themselves started and be up and working again. So by the end of Monday, about 80 to 90% of the workstations had already migrated. The remainder were people who weren't in on the Monday. They decided a migration wasn't the day that they wanted to start working. They would wait until support died down. But actually that surge didn't happen. So I'm going to actually take you through PowerSyncPro. I was going to do a live demo, but in the interest of time, I chose kind of 5 key areas and show you those instead. So this first one is the directory synchronization. So for us, directory synchronization is configured using a synchronization profile that says which users or groups you want to synchronize and what you want to do to those on the target. When you create those, PowerSyncPro kind of works out this schedule. So we're really proud of our UI. We get feedback from partners all the time to say, no, it's just intuitive. It just makes sense to someone who does migrations. The schedule's built. You can run the schedule as a whole thing. You can obviously schedule the schedule. You can run it every 15 minutes. You can go down lower than that as well if you want. And to give you an idea of the speed, we have one customer who has 14 different Active Directories or tenants. They have around 250,000 users and groups on top of the 250. And then they have their password syncing back the opposite way for backward compatibility. We run that sync every quarter of an hour, and it takes about a minute to run all of those jobs. So we run as many jobs as we can in parallel, and it is fast. Like, it's not like some of the other products where you're waiting. It's pretty quick. Even doing a full sync across the whole estate takes about 20, 30 minutes to do the whole thing. But obviously you don't have to do that. It does deltas as you go. The main thing, like I said before, is really the migration agent. So the migration agent is an MSI. You can deploy it any which way you like, any software distribution tool. You can do it through AD GPOs, kind of any way that you can get an MSI on the machine. When you get that the agent on the machine, we obviously start getting telemetry back. So one of the things we've got is the user profile report. So if you've got an estate of 10, 20,000 machines, or maybe less, you don't always know who is using what machine anymore. You know, they were handed a machine at the start, but that machine has kind of gone to various users. So we harvest off the Windows profiles and tell you that information inside the console so you can correlate the two. All the reporting, like I said, rolls up into here. So when the migration's running, the logs all get ingested back in. And you can get information, the summary information that you see here, but you can drill into the different phases of migration or actually see the raw log files as the migration's happening. There's about a 5-minute delay sometimes because we obviously don't want 10, 100,000 machines all talking back at exactly the same time. But you can actually react in real time. And we do this on migrations where we can see, say there is a user who's chosen to not be on the network. We can see that happening and we can contact the user via their phone to say, actually, you need to make sure you're actually on the network for the migration to continue. The migration agent is very tolerant, so things like that, network, power down, anything that the user can pretty much do, we recover from. And we have had cases like a WMI corruption where the solution for us isn't just to detect the corruption, we will fix the corruption and then carry on with the migration. So our aim is to get at least a 99, ideally more than that, success rate, 99% or better. Anything worse than that, and we kind of want to know what's happened and improve the agent. In the migration agent, the heart of the migration agent is a runbook. So we batch batch computers together into a collection, and we assign runbooks to them. You can see the phases across the top there, from startup through to completion. In this case, I'm talking here about permission updates. So taking the existing Windows profile and making that available for the user when they finish. It's just a tick box here. Doesn't seem like it's much to configure, but obviously there's quite a lot of power that happens in behind the scenes. We do other read permissions as well, so you can see them on the screen. One to point out is remote file shares. So if you have a NAS device or a non-Windows machine, or maybe a Windows server that you don't want to put the agent on, you can do that repermissioning remotely. You don't have to do add or remove. You can do add first and do remove later. We take care of the SID history, of course, as well. If there's a SID history SID, we upgrade that to the real SID instead. The second part of the runbook is the app reconfiguration. So going from tenant to tenant, whether that's because you're changing AD as well or just a tenant to tenant, we reconfigure all the apps. So we take them back to their out-of-the-box configuration. You can see the collection of apps there. We won't stop there. So if there's other applications that we find or from that partners tell us we should include, we will add them in. and we kind of expand that whole set. You can extend the runbooks, so you can add your own scripting at the start or the end, so you've kind of got full flexibility. One of the tabs there you would have seen was user experience. So we actually allow you to configure all the dialogues that the user sees. You can have them in any language. When the migration agent runs, it will detect to see what language the user is using, and it will display the correct one. So we don't force English on you. You can have it in any language at all. We have the QR code, which we find quite useful. So instead of shipping printed material or putting a PDF on the desktop, they can scan the QR code and go to a site that has more information about what's going on, how they need to get help, or what the next steps are after that. When the user then logs on, there is obviously the sign-in process. They authenticate to the machine, but then they sign into each of the applications. I've got a short video here. I'm trying to see that's maybe just going to make it. So they just sign into the applications all start up. So it's a relatively seamless process for the end user. Got 50 seconds. See how it goes. Whilst this is running, we do have a booth here, booth number 428. And at the booth, as well as having the phone stands, we've actually got a Lego model. So yesterday we gave a Lego model, it was the Harry Potter castle away. Today it's the Millennium Falcon, the UCS version. So it's well worth coming to the booth, not just to get the material, but come and talk to us. If you do migrations of any sort like this, come and talk to us. We believe we are the best product around. We are definitely the fastest in terms of synchronization. The migration agent, when we do a migration of a migration agent, it takes about 8 to 10 minutes per machine. And we've done tens of thousands at the same time. So I'd like to thank you for your time. I think I'm going to get kicked off. Come and talk to us, be a partner, help us improve the product and make this experience better for your end users. So thank you very much.